Hello Blitz fans of all ages, it's me, Plumcastle here, going over the changes that came to the Bat Chatillon 25T in update 9.1. Now there are quite a few changes here, so I will be wasting no time in jumping right into it. So firstly, the only nerf that the tank received was that the hit points were decreased by 100 hit points. So that took the base hit HP pool from 1,800 to 1,700. Now, while that may sound like a bit of an HP dip, honestly, the other changes that I'm going to be going over, I think definitely outweigh this quite a bit. Now, the next change is actually a neutral one. As far as I know, it does absolutely nothing. They are changing the APCR shell to an AP shell. I believe that just means they're changing the name. Why? I couldn't really tell you, but that is definitely a change. But now, let's get into some of these really cool buffs that the tank did receive. So, firstly, the crossing capacity coefficients, or i.e. the terrain resistance, got better by 9 for ground and by 25 for water. So what that means is that you're going to be able to maintain your top speed or close to your top speed a little bit more consistently, and you're not going to see as much of a speed dip as when you go through puddles and stuff like that. So that is really cool. It's going to make the tank feel a little bit faster, even though technically the engine power and the top speed stay the same. It's just going to feel a little bit more responsive when driving on awkward terrain. Anyway, the next thing is that the view range was increased by 10 meters. Now, that's not a huge difference. It took the view range from 260 to 270, which is not the biggest difference in the world, but it is definitely a buff nonetheless, and you're going to be able to spot up enemies just a tiny bit quicker than you were before, which is really cool. Now, the next thing that happened to the tank is that it got the shell reload boost consumable. Now, basically what this is it's kind of like a form of adrenaline for autoloaders, but instead of reducing your overall clip reload time, it actually decreases the interclip, i.e. the weight between shells, which means you're actually going to be able to shoot your 3 shells in a shorter period of time than you could previously, so long as you're using this consumable, which is actually really cool, because what that means is because you have a shorter interclip and therefore a shorter period of time when you're staying out, there's going to be less of a chance for the enemy to damage you, which means in the long run there are actually going to be some cases where you're not going to lose hit points where before you might have. So that is why the hit points were decreased, and so it kind of makes sense because you're not even going to be losing as many in the long run. Now, the last change that came to the Bat Chat is that the spall liner provision was added. Now, if you've ever played lightly armored tank destroyers, you may already know what this is, but basically what it does is it decreases the amount of damage that HE can do to you. So I'm sure if you've ever played a Bat Chat, you probably already know that people tend to shoot HE at you most of the time. And since this will now be doing less damage when you have this provision on, it's going to make it a much more enjoyable experience. You're going to be saving a lot more hit points because people aren't doing their maximum damage on you. And if people do shoot HE at you, there's still the chance that they could absorb it into your tracks. So yeah, that is a very, very good change there. And honestly, just as a note, if you're running up against a Bat Chat, particularly if it's showing you its side, it's probably a good idea just to go for an AP or an APCR round and not go for the HE, because the likelihood of it either getting sucked into the tracks or that the tank has spall liner is just not worth it. Really, probably only shoot HE at this if you've got a clear view of the back end of the tank. Otherwise, probably just shoot AP from now on. But anyway, that is the Bat Chat in update 9.1. Honestly, it has become a much stronger tank, and with that, hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.